One of the things that people ask a lot is how we keep stuff cold when we're off grid. This is my ice box. It's a vintage ice box. I don't know what year it's from, actually. I never have looked it up, but it's old. I found it years ago at an antique store and I wanted it so bad. And my husband went back and bought it to surprise me, and he refinished it. And then when we got this cabin, we brought it up here. So it works surprisingly well. I'm still learning about it. Here's how this one works. And I've got some thermometers, so we're gonna kind of keep tabs on it. So this is the spot where you put the ice. If you can get blocks of ice, that is best. I've never been able to find blocks of ice until we came up here. The local grocery store here, which is a small grocery, they carry blocks of ice. I think because there's lots of Amish up here, perhaps is why, I don't know. But blocks work better, they don't melt as fast. So I put my block or two of ice over there. And your cold things you want to keep coldest go down here, or right on the ice if you're really concerned about it. Over here is a little bit less cold, little less cold, little less cold, little less cold. There's an opening here, and that's how the circulation works. Now, there's not a ton of information on YouTube about how to use an ice box. There's a few videos, but not a lot. So that's how we use ours. I'm going to show you how I put stuff in it. This little fan is the best addition we ever made. Somebody recommended it somewhere on the internet, and I ordered it from Amazon. It was not expensive. It uses, I think, a couple of C batteries, which I thought would not last very long. They last a long time. And you just turn it on, and it just barely blows air, barely. But it boosts the efficiency of this by probably 10 degrees. It's amazing. Airflow is key in there. We added some extra insulation to try and see if that would help. I do think it helps a little bit. When it's really hot outside, you know, you can't expect miracles from this, okay? It's not a modern refrigerator, but it'll do pretty well. So I'll load it up and show you. Okay, so I have put my block of ice, and you can use bags of ice if that's what you can get, like loose ice. If you can get a block, put the block over there. Normally I would put probably 2 blocks if it's Dale and I. When I just come, me and the kitty, I eat a little bit simpler, so I don't worry about it as much. Anything that I would be really nervous about, for example, if I had raw chicken or something like that, if you're real nervous about it, I would put it right at the ice. The only thing I have with me like that is some hot dogs, because I love hot dogs. I will go ahead and stick those over there just because that makes me feel better. The other thing would be my yogurts. I always have a couple yogurts, and I just tuck these here beside the ice. That's how I do it. The key to an ice box, I have found, is planning ahead. So for example, when Dale and I come, we might think ahead on our meals and know, well, one night we're going to cook chicken and one night we're going to cook hamburger. I would try and bring that meat frozen, and that helps keep the ice box cold, and it just prolongs the cool in there. So there's things like that you have to think ahead. I would not bring something like a large jar of mayonnaise. I would either bring packets of mayonnaise, or I'd bring a small jar that was not open, and I wouldn't open it till I need it. And once I open it, I would keep it with the ice. But by doing this, we can keep it cold for a good while. And when you have to get new ice, you get new ice. Now I have a friend who gets these really nifty ice packs with her medication, and they're pretty large, and she is nice enough to give me these when she doesn't need them anymore. Something I learned is, especially when it's warm in the room temperature, I was tucking them all through here last time, and I couldn't keep things cold, and I thought, what's going on? and I think it was blocking the airflow. So I'm going to try this time putting 2 of these down on the very bottom. If you have something like this or frozen pop bottles or something that's going to drip, you want to put a little tea towel down on the bottom to catch those drips. The ice that's on this side that's going to melt, there's a little tube that goes down and it drains out the bottom. So I have one of these neat enamel pans. It's pretty large size and it'll slide right under my ice box. This little door flips up like that, and I just slide this under. And I know that when it's slid all the way back, it's going to catch any water that drips from my block of ice. Right now, the temperature, we're going to watch it and we'll keep a little check on it. Yeah, it's room temperature, which is only 72. It stays kind of cool in here. It's warmer outside. This is going to be up here, the shelf that stays not real cold. So what I'm going to put up there would be like my sticky buns that I got. I've got a couple vegetables I brought from home in here, an onion and some zucchini from the garden. I'm going to just tuck these up here. They don't need to stay cold, but it'll just keep them safe. I have my coffee creamer, which I'm going to tuck there. And I have my tonic water, which is like my little treat when I come up here. I'm going to lay that on my ice packs. And I'm going to just put my cheese over here, put my eggs here. Ooh. But that's how you would do it. And we're going to put this other temperature gauge over here. Good morning, friends. Oh, there's nothing quite as nice as that first sip of coffee. For me anyway. I do use instant coffee up here because it takes a long time to perk coffee through my percolator on the stovetop, and that just takes a lot of fuel. So we've tried a bunch of different ones and found that this Nescafe, it's not terrible. And it's just so easy, and the cleanup is so easy. So that's what we do when we're up here. I hope you can hear all the birds singing. I love it up here in the morning. It's so quiet, except for the birds. And I can hear Luna in there running around chasing her toy. I think I'm going to bring my crochet cardigan out here and work on that for a while this morning while it's quiet. So this is my granny square cardigan. There was a day I would have made fun of one of these so bad, but I love it. I saw one on Pinterest, and then I started seeing them around, and I thought, well, I could make one of those. It's not going to be so cute. It's just granny squares. And then 2 half granny squares. Then it wasn't quite right, so I've been sort of adding this little border around it. And I need to add a little something on the end of the sleeves. So I've just been playing with that. I think I'll work on that for a little while here while I have my coffee, listen to the birds, and get awake. Well, good morning, friends. it's time for me to go home. And I realized I never talked more about the temperature in the icebox. It was a very warm weekend, about 82 up here, which I know a lot of you have a lot hotter weather, but that was warm for up here. And I was able to keep the icebox at about a continual 52 degrees, which is not cold enough for a lot of things to be safe. Mayonnaise-y things, sliced lunch meat. You know, there's different things you would worry about. Chicken, certainly not fish or anything like that. But 30 degrees colder than the outside temperature is still pretty good. So I guess my biggest tip on the icebox is if you're going to use one, you just have to learn to work with it and learn what is safe to take and what's not, and learn the quirks of your icebox. I was telling you the praises of my little fan, and here it broke. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? So honestly, I got about 3 years out of that fan though, so that's pretty good. The little fan helps and would have, I believe, kept it probably at least 5 degrees colder than that. So anywho, so we're done here. I wanted to show you the pan that catches all of the water and what I do with that. So it's down underneath. Oh, there's a good bit in there. Okay. So that's my pan of water that is from all the ice strips. What I'm gonna do with this is I'm actually gonna just pour it into my Berkey and let that go. And then when I come next time, there'll be some starter water down in the bottom of the Berkey for us for hand washing and all that. I'm sure it would be perfectly safe to drink after sitting for, 10 days or whatever. But I'm always careful with the water that I've left in there. And we just use that for hand washing and getting started. I call it our starter water. So that's what I'm gonna do.